In this video, we're going to discuss how to install Python, the framework itself, and I'll show you where to find that. Just give you a quick walkthrough on how to install it on your laptop or home PC. So Python is a programming language. There are multiple versions of it. The most current is Python 3. That is the version that I've decided to use for the course. There are previous versions, such as Python 2, which is highly popular. All of you have, whether you are aware of it or not, have used software in the past which was written using Python 2. There are tons of resources out there for both Python 2 and Python 3. Just be aware that there are some differences, so with programming syntax and stuff like that. So just be aware that there are differences, so that if you're looking up some syntax online or getting some help or something like that for an assignment, then that you're looking for the proper version. So Python itself is a programming language. We're just going to go to the website here. So that is called python.org is the website that you can see. It brings you to the website maintained by the Python Software Foundation. This is essentially their spot where they, their central spot for managing the language, and you go here to download different versions, etc., etc. You can see there is extensive documentation here. So if you want to go in and see some guides or FAQs or read through all the documentation, it will not be a waste of time. There are also, forums and, things like this. You can go wikis where you can get a bunch of information. So this is a pretty good resource, for anything having to do with the Python language or class libraries or framework itself. Please do note that when you are going to download the software, as I mentioned in a previous video, there are multiple versions out there. So we are using Python 3. Python 3.6 is the version that's installed on the PCs at the college. However, it's just fine to download Python 3.7. There's essentially no difference, at least as it impacts our beginner course that we're talking about. Again, just a quick reminder, please make sure that you are downloading for the proper operating system for whatever computer you're installing this on. One other quick note here, if I just grab, where did I put it? This is the programs and features that are installed on my PC here that I'm working on. You'll notice I have a couple of previous versions of Python 3 that are installed on my PC that I've installed in the past. Just make sure, it is possible that you might run into problems if you have multiple versions installed. I'm only bringing this up because if there's anyone in class who has played around with Python a little bit before and has previously installed, the safest route is to just remove the prior versions and then install the new one. That's up to you. It's just a choice you'll have to make. Most versions can run concurrently at the same time, but you occasionally run into some problems. So just bringing that up as a point. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab a copy of Python 3.7. Now, since I am running Windows on this PC, Windows 10, I'm going to choose the download for that. You can see I just went and it gave me the executable. I'll open it up. It will now install where it's going. Now, please make note of whatever path is put here. Now, this chose a default path in my under my user profile. So users, Jeff is the name that I have on my user profile here at home. So this is where Python is going to be installed. Make note of where this path is, simply because it is certainly possible that you'll need to come back here at some point to either install some additional class libraries. Sometimes, if something with your configuration goes a little bit wrong, you might have to go and reinstall or something along those lines. So please take a screenshot or write down on a piece of paper or copy and paste this path somewhere where you know where it is so you can retrieve it. I'm also going to put in here, please add Python 3.7 to the path. So I'm going to check this box here. Essentially what that is, just as a quick, as a quick explanation. On a PC, if you are running any type of application, you know, there's a file extension, and your computer has to know how to run a file with a particular file extension. And so instead of us always having to put in the full path that we're seeing up here to get to the Python executable to say run a simple little program that we wrote, you in a simple world you would have to put all of this in, then python.exe, and then the name of your program, all this stuff. By adding it to the path, the path is basically a list that's stored by your operating system of where to find the, where to find this path essentially. So when you just say Python in a command line and the name of your program, it will know where on your computer to go find that file so that it can run it. So it's just kind of a shortcut, makes things a little bit easier for you at home. So we're going to add Python to the path, and then I'm going to click on install now, and there's just a security check that I did, and I said yes. So it's just going to take a second to install here. What gets installed is all of the basic libraries. We'll be talking more about class libraries and stuff like that later on in the course, but basically all of the files that Python needs to recognize all of the programming commands that we're going to start writing in our course. So all of that kind of gets put in there, and then I close this. I have now successfully installed. If I go to that section, so I was under what, C users, Jeff, app data. Please note this is a hidden folder, so sometimes you have to go in and turn on your hidden items so that you can actually see it in here. It was under app data. I think it was under local, and it's under programs and Python. So you can see here is the all of the files that were installed here for me, including the python.exe. Now, on a day-to-day basis, you don't need to know where this is specifically, but there are going to be times when you are going to need these. And you can see there are a bunch of documentation things, a bunch of libraries and scripts and tools that are all helpful for us with Python. But that is what we need at the moment. So at this point, I now have Python 3.7 installed on this computer. So I'll just end the video at this point, and in a later video, we'll look at some of the other software we have to install.